Yo, what's up, my friends? How's it going, everybody? There's the link if y'all want to come up. I'm just sitting outside with the goats, hanging out. If anybody wants to join in, feel free. Out and out in the woods, you see my lady, my kids, my goats, and me. Just chilling tonight. Just chilling out tonight, yo. Hope y'all are doing great. We're gonna have our sleep stream after a while. We're gonna have our sleep stream. LSU was winning a while ago in the women's basketball game. They're playing Iowa. I was watching it. We make our own whiskey and our own smoke too. Ain't too many things these boys and girls cannot do. We grow big old tomatoes, we make muscadine wine, and country boys can survive. Country folks know how to fry. I live out in the woods, you see. My lady, my cat, my dogs, and me. I got me some jelly beans today, yo, on on the cheap, real cheap. Yeah, real cheaply. I'm real happy about that. I'm hoping Saturday to sneak me some, get me some cheap Crocs. That's my plan. Some new ones. My ones I have now are real good, but I like them little cheap ones from the dollar places. Those are pretty cool too. So I'll probably get me a pair with my little coupon. My little coupon, yeah. Hey, nobody. Hey, what's up, Four Natties? If you want to come up, feel free to come up. If you don't, it's all right. How you doing, man? I was watching some of the women's basketball game a little while ago. That's gonna go into the fourth quarter. Anybody try to April Fool you today? I can plow a field all day long. I can catch catfish from dusk till dawn. We make our own whiskey and our own smoke too. Ain't too many things these old boys can't do. We grow big old tomatoes, we make muscadine wine, and country boy can survive. Country girls know how to fry. Had a pretty good Easter yesterday, yo. Pretty good little Easter. All right, Four Natties is coming up. What's up, Four Nats?
Yeah, um, I just got done rewatching the bowl game against Wisconsin. I only watched the offensive series because really the only thing I wanted to see was to get a second taste on how Garrett Nussmeier performed in his first ever start. So that's what I was doing.
Yeah. Um, in the bowl game that you watched, so you only watched the offense, but I was kind of hoping you would have watched the defensive. What's the defensive guy's name again? That's coming to us. The
Who?
big defensive lineman.
Uh, Gio Paez from well, are you talking about the transfer or
Yeah, isn't he
yeah,
from
Gio?
Wisconsin?
Yeah, he is. I saw him. He played a lot of series, but listen, um, Wisconsin was hardly getting any pressure, but that was mostly because LSU has arguably the best offensive line in the country. So yeah, he's big. He looks strong, but I don't think he's going to be any star or some every down player. But I do think he'll be good rotational and add depth to the defensive line.
Yeah, that's cool. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. You had a good Easter for Natties.
Yeah.
That's cool. You got some candy?
No,
No Easter eggs, nothing like that.
no.
Oh, I went to the store today and got me some candy half price, man. Some jelly beans. I really like jelly beans.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
do you go? Are you going on Miami Dolphins content?
No, I haven't even seen. I don't know. I haven't been seeing his videos. I must have.
He told me they still do it on Mondays.
I haven't been in there in a while. I'll
Okay.
make sure to
I
check
was
on them.
watching the women's basketball game a little while ago. It's on ESPN right now, and man, just very competitive, man.
Yeah,
These girls, Caitlin Clark and
yeah.
Angel
Huh.
Reese, have done
Yeah,
so much for.
they're drawing a lot of attention. It's all
Yeah,
over Twitter. That's really the only thing I'm seeing on my Twitter feed. So, um, listen, I've made it clear I'm not a very big women's basketball fan, but I'm very much more and more popular.
yeah,
Um,
they've done so much for women's basketball. They're gonna and I think that they'll have people watching them at the next level as well, wherever they
yeah,
go. Because honestly, I mean, can you name me? Can you name me a couple of players in the WNBA right now?
no, I don't know a single. No, I don't.
No, me neither. So yeah, these two players have really done a lot for women's basketball. And I've even seen pictures of men wearing women's Caitlin Clark jerseys.
Yeah,
Uh, so that's pretty cool. I'm happy for them. You know that they getting recognition because they put in a lot of work, man. These girls put
yeah,
in a lot of work.
yeah, but yeah, uh,
I mean, it's not gonna overtake football, but obviously, but it's still, that's they put in hard work deserves recognition,
yeah,
and so that's a good thing.
yeah,
So we're in April now. It's spring game month.
yeah. Spring game coming up in 12 days,
Yeah,
and then after that the draft. So a lot going on this month.
yeah. The draft. The draft is when is the draft?
The 25th is the round one.
That's when I was, when I was growing up, man. That was my tradition. I would go to on the Monday after Easter, and I would go buy me some Easter candy, jelly beans, and different types of Easter candy, and save it for the draft. And I would. Are you now? Let me ask you this: do you sit and watch the whole draft, or do you watch just the first round,
I
or
usually watch round, I obviously watch day one, the first round, and then I watch day two as well, which is the second and third. But after day two, I don't really pay much. I pay attention to who the Saints pick, but I don't. At day three, which is the fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh round, I don't
Yeah.
really watch that.
I used to sit, man. I used to sit and watch the whole thing, and I used to go to the draft fest back back when I don't even know if you remember it being on Saturdays. Do you remember that?
I don't know what you're. I don't.
Okay,
Uh,
so the draft used to be on the first. I think it was the first three rounds were on Saturday, and then the Sunday had the other four rounds. But my first time ever being on YouTube, I don't know if I told you. You probably heard me say this, but was when Reggie Bush got drafted, and I
yeah,
was, yeah, I was at the Saints practice facility when Reggie Bush got drafted, and that was unbelievable. Um, just to see everybody just so excited right after the Katrina in 2005, right after those seasons, and the whole. I remember they had these guys dressed like nuns that came in with the Saints flags, and everybody
yeah.
was screaming Reggie, 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 and
The Saints, yeah, the Saints picked Reggie. They picked him. I'm pretty sure number two overall, the second pick in the draft, and ever since 2006 when Breeze and Peyton uh, first year, the Saints haven't even come close to drafting that high,
no,
having that high of a draft pick. Also, but this year we're picking 14th, but that's nowhere near picking second. So, but
yeah,
maybe I don't think the bottom's going to fall out for the Saints, but I don't think they're going to be that good. I think they'll just continue to be mediocre until they make a change.
yeah. I we'll see what happens with Chase Young. Everybody knows that Chase Young is having is he having a surgery on his neck?
Yeah, it's got to be a neck surgery.
So I'm like, I don't know if you talk with a lot of people, if you see somebody with a Saints hat, whatever, if you talk with them about the Saints, but I kind of do. And I say, man, it's just small talk. What you think about Chase Young? And everybody's everybody's still kind of cautious about that. You know,
But they've reworked the contract to make it where if he's injured and he can't play, he won't be making this certain amount of money. So it's not some big risk in the contract. It's not some massive, fully guaranteed deal or anything. It's really a 1 year prove it deal. I'm not too worried about it.
yeah, yeah, it's a 1 year deal. He's getting paid well, but it is a 1 year deal, and if he does real well, then
Hello, hello.
like
Okay,
somebody was calling
I couldn't hear you for I couldn't
in.
hear you.
Yeah, somebody was calling in, but it's all right. I'll just call
Okay.
him. I'll call him back after a while. But you know, some other draft. I know you love the draft. I love the draft. A lot of people really enjoy the draft. The draft is in Detroit this year,
Yeah.
and some other draft memories I had with the Saints. Um, one of the worst. I know the whole Ricky Williams thing you've heard about, obviously
Yeah. Yeah.
being a big Saints fan, but I can remember that day. And I'll be honest with you, man. When the Saints drafted Ricky Williams, um, I was very very excited because we finally, in my opinion, at the time, we had a big name on the team because if you try to remember at that time who was the Saints running backs, You had. Let me ask you these names. Tell me if you ever heard of these names. Okay. Wilmot Perry. Have you ever heard of Wilmot Perry?
No,
Okay.
no.
You might have heard of this guy, Troy Davis.
Uh, not too familiar. Um,
Okay, it's all right. He played for San Diego State. He was a good little running back in college, but just too small. Lamar Smith. Heard of that name?
not really. No.
Okay. So, and then Ricky gave us somebody to sell jerseys, and it was just too much though to put on one player. But Mike Ditka, I remember driving to work, man, the week before the draft, and I'm driving my little truck. I had a little truck at the time, and Mike Ditka said he'd give up all his draft picks for one player. He told him that before the draft. He said it's one player, but it's a for an apple. It's one apple tree for a whole whatever, vineyard or whatever it is. But it's a doggone good apple tree, you know. And so Ricky came in, got hurt, and the rest is history. But I was the first person in the area to have a Ricky Williams jersey. I when they were taking them out of the boxes to put them on the racks over here. I was the first one to get the Ricky Williams jersey. I still have it, and you're gonna say I'm crazy for natties, but I actually, man, I grew my hair. I had dreadlocks. I at the time I got my tongue pierced just like Ricky Williams. Ricky was my favorite player, and then um, but anyway, let's see. One of the worst. A lot of people think that the Ricky Williams draft was the worst draft that the Saints had. Okay, because they gave up all them picks. The only reason they didn't give up the second round pick was because they had already traded it for Eddie Kennison, who played for LSU, to the Rams to get Eddie Kennison. And but I'm gonna tell you another draft that was pretty goofy. I was at the draft fest when the Saints, the pick that they had traded to Miami. Miami traded, I think it was two first round picks. One was conditional. It was a conditional pick when they traded for Ricky Williams, and he ended up having 1,853 yards, 1,853 yards, 16 touchdowns, led the league in rushing when he went to Miami that first year. And so we got back to back. I think it was the 13th and the 14th pick in the draft. Put both of those picks together to move up to like pick number 5, and we took Jonathan Sullivan. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Well, he was a defensive tackle, came from Georgia, and I mean he was just an absolute bust. But you know, but yeah, we would always go to the draft fest, and Tom Benson would come in with his on his golf cart, and Sean Payton addressed the crowd. And um, one time, I got to go to the draft fest, and I actually got to sit where the players eat lunch and all in the practice facility in Metairie, and it was all catered. And I still have the hat. It was you. You remember we talked about Dalton Hilliard, Dalton Hilliard who played for LSU and then the Saints. Well, I got Dalton Hilliard to autograph my hat, and so Tom Benson, you know who Tom Benson is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom Benson at the time was having lunch at the next table to us, me and my buddy. And I said, Mr. Tom, can I get your autograph? So I got him to sign my hat. And he saw that Dalton Hilliard had signed uh, already. So he said, Dalton's here? I said, yeah, man, yeah, Mr. Benson, he's over there. And just real cool, man. Real cool memories that I had that I got to experience. Um, because you watch these guys on TV, back in the day when the Saints made the playoffs in 1987. Tom Benson did what was called the Benson Boogie. So he'd open his umbrella and he'd dance on the field, you know. And I grew up as a youngster watching that, and to be having lunch next to the guy that meant so much, it was just an amazing thing. But I got to meet a lot of players, man. I met Deuce McAllister, Aaron Brooks, Dante Stallworth, Joe Horn, you know, a bunch of different players that I can't even mention their say their names. But I grew up loving the draft. I get my little draft magazine. I didn't get it this year though. It's like kind of expensive, you know. And it's so different now because when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet to get all the information. So you'd get most of your information out of magazines, you know. And I still have a bunch of them. But anyway, you have any favorite draft draft memories that you have?
Not really, because the Saint. Well, and obviously 2017 was the draft. The Saints hit nailed. They hit on every pick. Lattimore, Ramczyk, Kamara, Williams, Hendrickson. They absolutely knocked that out of the park. Um, and I mean, I was tuned into that draft, but I don't really have any, key memories from it. But obviously, um, and just I've watched some back. Obviously, um, in 2018 when they gave up all that for Marcus Davenport, uh, I didn't even know what to think of it at the time. I mean, Davenport was a project, uh, very raw, and just didn't work out. That was a miss, and then they missed. They've taken a lot of picks on these big, athletic, raw projects that have all the physical tools, but that just never just never worked out. So I don't have any key memories that
Yeah,
but I've been watching every draft for a while now.
yeah.
So
One of my other traditions that I do is I like to get me some nachos with some jalapenos, and I get that canned cheese, and I make me some nachos while I watch the draft, and normally have maybe might have pizza or chicken wings or some crawfish or something. But what about well, I was gonna ask you about spring game memories, but I mean, you hadn't been to a spring game in a while, like getting autographs and stuff.
I've been to one, but it was a while back. I don't really remember much from it. I think it was 2016. I was at
Okay. Yeah, you'd have that would have been some years.
that.
They do the spring game different now, man. They used to back. I think back at that time they still had the fan day on a Sunday. I think so. But now what they do, they have fan day on the spring game day. So after the third quarter, people start lining up to get autographs. But I'm more of a guy that I like. What I like to do. Here's a tip for you, for natties. I don't know if you're a big autograph person, but if you ever go when you go next time to a football game, are you a big autograph person or not? So anyway, but if you are, bring a marker, a sharpie, and just kind of stick it, under your, like where your hat is, uh, like just kind of stick it under there. Because I'm gonna wear my baseball hat, my uh, my baseball hat,
Mhm.
and Because I should have got his autograph, but you remember, you ever heard of Michael Clayton? He played wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah,
He was in the stands. Another cool person that was it was kind of I thought about getting his autograph, but I didn't. Was you remember Max Johnson? His
yeah.
dad, Brad Johnson.
And I'm not a big fan of him, no.
I know,
But I obviously do remember him. Yes,
but his dad played football in the NFL for
he won a super. Yeah, I know that. I know the story. Yeah,
yeah. So he was. They were in line waiting to get into the game. But then you kind of look like when you go ask, hey man, can I have your autograph? But whatever, if it makes you happy.
Max is actually on his third team now. He started at LSU, then he went to A&M, then he
Yeah.
transferred again. Now he's
Where's
at
he?
North Carolina with
Really?
Matt Brown.
Okay.
So
I didn't even know that, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, it didn't really work out with LSU. Yeah.
Did his brother end up going to North
I
Carolina
think,
too?
yeah, his brother was originally committed to LSU. Then when Max transferred to A&M, he flipped to A&M, and now he's gone to up to Chapel Hill um, with Max. So that who knows, he might transfer a fourth time next year with how these news that the new transfer portal things are, where you can just transfer as many times as you want now.
Yeah.
Um,
So you've been studying the NFL draft a little bit. I
No,
mean, not
I
really.
there's obviously there's always rumors about, well, this quarterback is taking over the odd, like JJ McCarthy's going to go number 2 overall. Yeah, that's ridiculous. There's always these pre-draft insane rumors, and JJ McCarthy, the quarterback, obviously won the national title at Michigan.
Uh huh.
He's probably some team is going to give up a lot of. I think there's some team that's gonna draft JJ McCarthy pretty high, and I don't think it's gonna work out. I'm not a big JJ McCarthy person. Um, Now, but I do like, obviously, um, Caleb Williams is gonna be the first pick, and obviously Jaden Daniels I think is really good.
Hmm.
And I also think Drake May, the quarterback, like we were just talking about, North Carolina. I think Drake May's really good, but after those first 3 quarterbacks, I think there's a drop off in talent, and there's all these rumors about how high JJ McCarthy's going to go, and I'm just not. I just don't think. I think he's going to be a bust, if you ask me, but I can't guarantee that. That's just my prediction.
Well, I saw something. I saw something today. It looks like the Bears have number one overall and number nine overall.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah.
So
That obviously they number 9 is their pick, but the number 1 came from the Panthers. That was the Panthers pick that um, they
what do you
traded for.
what do you think about Malik Neighbors at number nine?
I don't think Neighbors is falling to number 9.
Okay.
That would be a pretty big shocker if he fell that far.
Yeah.
I think Malik Neighbors is gonna go either 5 or 6. It's
Okay.
looking like the Chargers might take him at 5.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of his size and a lot of comparisons to Jamar Chase. A lot of people
Yeah,
are.
I don't know if he's gonna be that good. That's a very high bar, but
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be very, very good.
Yeah, you're right. I still remember when I still remember when the Bengals drafted Chase at 5. A lot of people
Yeah,
wanted him to go offensive line.
yeah, they made the right decision to take Jamar Chase. I know that was that. Now the offensive linemen, they were the offensive linemen that everyone was thinking they would take. Sewell, he's with the Lions. He's actually really good, so it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so Chase is obviously Chase. Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be the first receiver off the board. Um, I think it's Jamar Chase was a generational prospect. Um, uh, and he, probably, one of the Jamar, probably one of the best receiver prospects, one up there. And they've got another really good receiver prospect that's considered generational by a lot of people in Marvin Harrison Jr.,
Yeah,
who I think is likely going to go to the Cardinals. Um, but, you know, um, I think there's a lot of talent in this draft, especially at the receiver position. Um, but I don't think the Saints are going to be using their first round pick on a receiver. I think they're going to be taking an offensive lineman.
yeah. What's that big dude, the offensive line? I should know this, but I know you're gonna know it. The big offensive lineman for the Saints that they drafted a few years ago, and he's got this really mean streak to him. I forgot his name.
Are you
He's like
talking
a
about
but.
Trevor Penning?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the deal with him?
he's been a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
I think it maybe even time to call him a bust.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not worked out, and that's a big reason. You drafted Trevor Penning in that draft to be your franchise left tackle after Armstead left, and it is gone. It has been a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. So more than likely, that's why they'll have to draft left tackle again, huh?
And because Ryan Ramchek's future is up in the air. I'm not counting out that he could retire. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about this, but his knee is a big concern right now.
Really?
You haven't heard about the Ryan Ramchek news?
A little bit, but not as not. I didn't hear that it was that bad.
Yeah, he had to have surgery, and Dennis Allen,
Yeah.
a coach that nobody likes, is he said that the knee is not looking like what they wanted it to look, and it's not in a great spot right now. So another reason why they got to go offensive line.
What are the Saints gonna do at to replace Jameis Winston? What is the deal with that backup quarterback?
They signed Nathan Peterman, who I
Uh-huh.
obviously think is a big downgrade from Winston, and they also drafted Jake Hayner last year. So that's really the three quarterbacks you have now.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they're going to. I don't know. I don't think they should draft a quarterback, and I don't think they should draft a quarterback because they restructured Derek Carr's contract and basically locking them in long term with Derek Carr. So if you're locked in with Derek Carr, which already is questionable, then why are you drafting another? I just don't. I don't see them drafting a quarterback. I think likely it's going to be a Peterman Hayner battle for the backup quarterback job,
Yeah. I know that Carr missed a few games last year.
and
Uh,
that's backup. The backup quarterback spot is becoming more and more valuable with all these injuries to the quarterbacks. Teams are spending a lot of more money on backup quarterbacks.
right. Who's still out there? Should they
I,
decide
I
to get
don't
somebody?
know. I haven't really been. I don't know if
Nope.
they're going to.
Yeah.
They'll probably bring in a camp body. They'll probably bring somebody in by the time of training camp to
Yeah.
compete. But I think it's likely going to come down to Peterman and Hayner for the backup quarterback job.
Yeah. We'll see. Oh, another tidbit. Did you see that the Saints? Well, you once again can probably tell me more about it, but they picked up a kicker from somewhere from
I have
like.
actually not. I saw it, but I don't. I didn't really look that much into it.
Okay.
I don't. I couldn't even tell you his name. But I heard they signed a kicker. And
Yeah.
listen, obviously they signed that Blake Groupie last year. He wasn't any good um,
Uh-huh.
compared to NFL kickers standards. And what is he, like 5'6" or something?
Yeah, little guy.
He's um, so he's I think you definitely got to bring in competition to the kicker room with how below average Groupie was last year. So I'll try to look more into that, but I
Yeah.
didn't really.
Well, I read something about this guy was a soccer kicker, from what I saw, from
Yeah,
overseas somewhere. I didn't read the whole thing, but I think he was some kind of soccer kicker. So interesting stuff. All right. Well, it's about to rain over here, so I'm gonna be heading in for Natties. Thank you once again for joining in, and I sure enjoyed this the sports chat with you. Have a great
yeah.
night. Okay.
So
Later.